In the year 2143, a city of once blazing neon had fallen into permanent twilight. Its towering signs still hissed and flickered, painting the broken streets with unnatural blues, pinks, and greens. But these lights were mere echoes of a vanished world. Now the only constant was the presence of the zombies. They roamed everywhere in slow, shuddering steps, and with eyes that glowed a lifeless, milky white. Torn corporate suits fluttered against their rotting limbs. Metallic implants sparked feebly, embedded in swollen flesh. Every moan resonated like a funeral dirge through the empty corridors and shattered windows. Here, death was not a silent hush, but a haunting chorus rising under buzzing neon. No one recalled the virus's scientific name anymore. It had been lost when labs were overrun. It was simply called the infection, a creeping doom that conquered the world overnight. One moment, the streets bustled with hover cars and futuristic fanfare. The next, savage screams echoed from every alley. Decaying hands tore through barricades, and the living scrambled for safety in places that no longer provided it. The sprawling biotech complexes, particularly the ominous Nova Biotech, became macabre landmarks. It was rumored their reckless experiments sparked the apocalypse. Perhaps some new vaccine or life extension serum backfired, unleashing a plague that spread like wildfire. Whatever the case, the zombies marched outward in an unstoppable wave of gnashing teeth and rancid breath. Some of the zombies still wore name tags from fast food joints, while others clutched at tattered business suits. A few had once been security drones, metal limbs fused with rotting sinew, jolting in spasmodic twitches. Broken holograms continued to beam advertisement loops onto their decomposing forms, painting them with dancing light and shadows, a hideous masquerade in the neon gloom. They did not hunt with cunning, but with relentless need. Their minds, if any remained, echoed a single command: feed. And so they shuffled through the rubble-strewn streets in packs, jaws slack, hands reaching for living flesh. Stray cats, rats, anything with a pulse was fair game. Sometimes the sheer hunger drove them to clash and tear each other to pieces in mindless frenzy. And still, there were pockets of survivors. Their silhouettes darted between ruined skyscrapers like ghosts, wearing gas masks and makeshift armor. At night, the survivors huddled in the high floors of collapsing towers or in hidden bunkers beneath the cracked highways. Some whispered about a cure, rumored to be locked away in the sublevels of Nova Biotech. They debated whether it was worth risking the swarm of zombies that skulked below for one last shred of hope. From time to time, the aroma of living blood wafted through the stale air, igniting a frenzy among the zombies. A single, muffled scream or stray footstep would draw droves of them, clambering over each other to rip into warm flesh. Survivors who strayed too far rarely escaped till once spotted. The city's labyrinthine passages became lethal mazes, overrun by wandering eyes that no longer blinked. Beneath the rubble, the labs of Nova Biotech stood as a testament to humanity's hubris. Shattered glass tubes loomed like jagged teeth, and half-finished projects collected dust in sterile corridors. There, the virus was concocted, or perhaps weaponized. Some of the zombies still lurked in those hidden chambers, stronger and more violent than their above-ground kin. Their minds had been twisted further by clandestine research, eyes glowing with a sickly bioluminescent glare. If the rumored cure existed, it was somewhere deep in these forsaken labs. Survivors sometimes gathered their courage to penetrate those depths in hopes of salvaging something. Any data, any vial. Yet few returned. The restless zombies would stir at even the faintest noise, responding with unbridled aggression. Many survivors became test subjects in the zombies' endless feast, ensuring the labs stayed guarded in a haze of rotting flesh and despair. Above ground, the city's neon glow clashed with perpetual twilight and drifting smoke. Even at night, it was never truly dark. Lights blinked in swirling patterns across the gloom. This made stealth a challenge for those still breathing. And it made the zombies eerily visible, silhouettes on every street corner, stumbling forms framed by sputtering signs. The infection had turned this once modern metropolis into a neon graveyard, a place where progress ended in unstoppable hunger. Day or night, the zombies pressed on. Some had no lips, leaving teeth permanently bared in snarls. Others hissed through artificial voice boxes, creating a mechanical whine that overlapped with their low, resonant moans. Always they searched for the warm pulse of life, guided by an insatiable craving that transcended reason. Still, scraps of human resilience persisted. The huddled survivors whispered to each other of old archives, hidden labs, and rumored cures. They formed small platoons, armed with scavenged rifles and electric batons. In the flicker of neon, they risked everything in timed raids, seeking food, ammo, or scraps of technology that could offer a chance of salvation. Now and then the zombies' hold on a district would weaken momentarily. A few battered walls might keep them at bay, or a timed explosion might draw them elsewhere. It was in these fleeting moments that survival felt possible. Yet inevitably, the howls of the zombies returned, reminding all that no wall was unbreakable, no safe house truly secure. And so, the cycle continued. The zombies roamed, moaned and fed. The living cowered, scavenged, and hoped. Neon lights pulsed in the darkness like a dying heartbeat, illuminating humanity's ruin. Another day would pass, the zombies always in search of flesh, and the survivors always balancing on a razor's edge of extinction. In this broken world of flickering signs and haunted streets, the zombies ruled the surface, and beneath it, nightmares far worse than rotting corpses stirred. The question that hung in the fluorescent haze was whether the living could outlast such horror, or if the infection would usher in an eternal kingdom of the zombies beneath the neon sky.